thought of losing someone is just surreal. Our brain only has a limited capacity of what it can understand and comprehend. And death is just something it refuses to fathom. We always say be with your loved one as much as you can, but you'll never truly understand that until you wish you had more time. Losing a loved one creates a void in your life, leaving a feeling of emptiness and a sense of disconnection from the void. It brings a complex mix of emotions, often fluctuating between sadness, anger, disbelief, numbness, and even moments of relief, which makes it hard to navigate and process these waves of feelings. Interestingly enough, you can also experience grief from someone you didn't like or someone who didn't treat you well. Grief isn't always about the positive aspects of a relationship. It can also be about the loss of potential, unfinished business, or the emotional attachment you had developed with them, or the pain of a relationship that didn't meet your needs, even if it's harmful to you. Basically, you're grieving the loss of the person you hoped they could be. Now, while I was researching about all of this, I stumbled upon a story where a grandpa would leave notes of affection all around the house in the hopes that every once in a while, his wife, grandma, would find them. But he had left one specific note with knowledge that she would find it when he had eventually passed. He had even attached it to his will to make sure she was the person to find it. It's honestly a nice reminder that the materialistic things we have in life mean nothing without the people we love. But after the grandpa would eventually pass, his wife ended up finding the note, and in his handwriting he wrote, "This I will remember when the rest of life is through. The finest thing I have ever done is simply loving you." Listen, I can tell you the facts and I can show you the stats, but it's always going to be better to hear from someone who battles with this every single day. And so I got my homie Jack.
When Eli came to me with the idea of creating a video about grief, I was eager to share my process with the world. My 8th grade year, which was 3 years ago, I lost my dad to a heart attack. My dad was a struggling alcoholic for his entire life, and sometimes when I saw him, it was like seeing two different people. On one hand, he was my dad, the man who cared about me, the man who loved me, and the man who would die for me. But on the other hand, a man who wouldn't put down the bottle, a man who wouldn't change, a man who was scary and aggressive to be around when he was drunk. When my mom pulled me out of class that day in 8th grade, eyes watering, voice raspy, hands shaking, telling me that my dad had died, I was overwhelmed with emotions. I obviously was extremely sad. I had lost the man who taught me everything. I lost the man who taught me how to tie my shoes, compete in sports, gave me my humor, and comforted me in moments when I needed it. I had lost my father, and I would never be able to create new memories with him, ever. But I was also angry. Angry that he wouldn't get help, angry that he wouldn't see a professional, angry that he cared more about drugs and alcohol than his own family, and angry at the world for taking them from me. These emotions would eat me alive. I was lashing out at people who were trying to care about me. I was crying in places I didn't want to cry. I was extremely depressed and tired constantly. This is what they call grief. Unrelenting emotions that cause you to change who you are as a person. I've been going to therapy for a long time, and during therapy, there's always been a recurring question that my therapist has asked me. What would you say if your dad was still here? This is what I wrote. Dear Dad, I'm 16 now, about to be 17. I'm thriving in school, have great friends around me, and I'm starting to think about what I want to do in college. Remember how you said I always wanted the car you had? Guess what? I have the exact same one now. Livi is finishing her last year in college. She misses you a lot, and so do I. The Seahawks are still bad. I know you're mad about that. I wish we could watch the games together again and talk about your work and school and everything going on in your life. I miss you more than words can describe. I love you. Your son, Jack. Grief is hard. It's unforgiving, and it's an extremely painful process. I've been dealing with it for about 3 years now, but there are probably some people who are watching this that have been dealing with it way longer than me. Or maybe there are people watching this who are just now dealing with the death in their life. Wherever you are in life, whatever stage of grief you're in, there are people around you that care about you and truly love you. There are so many ways to grieve. Writing, listening to music, looking back at old photos. But in my experience with grief, the one piece of advice I can give to somebody out there who's struggling is talk. As a man in society, we are taught to never show our emotions, with the saying, "Men don't cry." Promise you, I know from experience, this mindset will only hurt you more. Talking with other people may feel really uncomfortable at first, and it'll probably bring up a lot of emotions that you consider negative. But keeping these emotions to yourself will only hurt you more. Mom, dad, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, therapist, etc. Whoever it may be, talk to them. Tell them how you've been feeling, or what's been bothering you, or what you miss about the one you lost. Not only will this help you, but it'll also help the person that you're talking to. Them hearing how you're feeling compared to leaving them in the dark is a huge difference, because then they don't feel like they're being shut out from you. If Eli came to me 2 years ago and asked me, "Hey, do you want to make this video?" I would have told him, "Fuck no, I ain't talking about it." But after talking to people and sharing my experience with others, I've realized that communication is the greatest form with healing